Welcome to Violin Adventures number 193. That means we just have 6 episodes left before the grand 200th, in which we will be featuring your pictures and your videos of what you are doing in your homes, in your shops, in your spare time. Let's jump into the episode. We're going to start off working on a special viola. We have here a beautiful 16-inch viola, and the trouble it has, first we have a crack that needs to be cleated, and we're going to give it a new bass bar, give it some life so that it becomes easier to play and more vibrant. That's the goal. So we're going to take this down and get started. Okay, so we're going to take the top off. Here's the inside of and here's the top. The graduations are quite thick in the middle, so we can improve that. We'll take out this bass bar, and also we have an open seam right here in the middle. So it's a good thing we opened this up. And here's the crack that was in here, so we do need to cleat this too. So we're going to get started. Well, it's time to get a bass bar and nice tone. So we're going to use this piece of spruce to cut out a bass bar for the viola. We have a fresh batch of hot hide glue and a bass bar that's fitted and ready to be put in. Time to get these clamps off and shape the bass bar. Okay, we got to take down this big chunk of wood and get it to vibrating with the top. Well, we've got our fresh batch of glue. And what we're going to do is take the crack that is closed on the outside, but on the inside here, it is open. So I'm going to pump glue into that. And then we also have the crack on the middle seam right there. So we're going to glue those shut and put some cleats on them. I found the perfect little scoop for our hide glue. It's just right for putting into a small bottle with no mess. And being made out of wood is just perfect. I found this in Berea. got to give that time to dry, and then we can get ready to close this up. Our cleats have had plenty of time to dry, so the goal today is to take the cleats down and seal this and close it up. Okay, we're putting a new label in. Okay, I'm excited to try the viola. It's got a new bass bar and an adjustment on the graduation. It's vibrating. Just feeling the neck is just vibrating a lot. So let's hear what it sounds like. Much more lively and responsive than it was. I made a little adjustment to the bridge placement in relation to the sound post and see if that helps. I love the two lower strings, C and G, and I wanted the A and D to come out a little bit more. The molecules need to get lined up in this viola, so I'm going to let it rest a little bit. I love the two lower strings, and I just want to tweak the upper ones so that it's glorious. Alright, we've given the viola a little bit of time to adjust. Let's see what it sounds like now. This viola vibrates so much now when you play it, when you tune it. Wow. Yes, much better. I think that the A and D are blending more with the D, this G and C. Yeah. with how this is sounding. Everything is vibrating, and the A and the D have become much more clearer than they were yesterday. So there it is. There's our viola. We have just started a string ensemble, and this is our second meeting, and I just wanted to give you a glimpse of what we're sounding like for the second meeting. I'm excited. Next, we finish up our 1800's Czech violin. We are going to play this wonderful 1800's Czech violin one last time before we send it off. This violin, A and the D, E, are not open yet. They feel like 100 years of silence, and they have an ethereal tone, but not awake yet. So it still needs a lot of playing, but I feel the D and G are opening up. So it should be soon that the others open up. Okay, it's starting to open up a little bit. So I might play it just a little bit more before we send it off. Well, it's time to send off our violin, and I think that I tend to fall in love with each instrument after I repair it, so it's always a sad goodbye. But here it is. It's all finished, ready to go. We're going to pack it up in this case, and the packing is really good on all of this, so it should be fine. But just as an extra precaution, I loosen the strings just a little bit, taking the pressure off just a little bit, and then I'm putting a padding under the tailpiece in case the bridge should fall down, that it won't mar the top. And then also, in case the bridge falls, it won't hit too hard on the top, so I'm putting padding around the bridge. It'd be good, and we're putting it in a case, which is always good. There's so much protection so much more protection in a case. Says 8.5 pounds, so we'll go with 9 pounds. This way you can see how I weigh things. I use this scale. It's so accurate and it's big enough to hold big boxes like this. Time for an anecdote. Okay, it's time to continue our story of Stradivari, and we're reading out of Violins and Violinists by Franz Farga. Left off where Stradivari was a pupil of Amati. Now we'll take up here. The apprenticeship of a violin maker lasted at least 6 years. Amati must have exerted great influence on the boy Antonio Stradivari. They both excelled in conscientiousness, had a deep love of their art, and were meticulously accurate in their work. This pride in his work may explain why Stradivari, when he was a master himself, as a rule refused to take on pupils. The only exceptions were his 2 sons and Carlo Bergonzi, who was very devoted to him. Although he trained these pupils scrupulously, he never allowed them to help him with his instruments. Even when a very old man, he relied on himself alone. He worked from dawn to dusk every weekday, had some bread and fruit brought to his working table at midday, and appeared in the family circle for the evening meal only. On Sundays he went to the cathedral where all the violin makers met, as it was customary to arrange church concerts at which the new violins were tried out. Some experts assert that Stradivari's touch can be recognized in Amati's violins made from 1666 and onwards. As he had by then finished his term of apprenticeship, it is probable that Nicola Amati asked him for his assistance with difficult jobs. Choice was a young widow, Francesco Farabashi, who had already experienced several years of stormy matrimony. She had been the wife of one Giovanni Capra, descendant of a distinguished family. This, then, was the woman that Antonio Stradivari had chosen as his wife. He seems to have been very happy with her, and she bore him 5 children, 2 girls and 3 boys, 2 of whom, Alessandro and Amabano, followed their father's calling. There are 3 distinguishable periods in Stradivari's career. The first extended until 1686, and this was, of course, the period in which he followed Amati's lead. Already, however, the first signs of his deviations from the master's model began to appear. The scroll is carved deeper into the wood and shows a more original, more elegant curve. A few years after his marriage, Stradivari set up a workshop of his own, and his next aim was to buy a house for himself and his family. The above-mentioned contract of 1680 relates to the purchase of a 2-story house in the violin maker's quarter in the Piazza San Domenica. At street level there was a large shop, which Stradivari equipped as a workshop, while the large and bright rooms in the attic were used to hang up the freshly varnished violins for drying. During the hot season, the master would work in one of these airy attic rooms. When the house was rebuilt in the middle of the 19th century, a box room was found next to one of the garrets, filled with wood shavings, wood waste, blocks, broken molds, and worn-out tools. Then it goes on describing how he started getting orders from dukes and kings and cardinals, and they were ordering quartets and quintets, and his name was just starting to really spread. At about this time, Stradivari's methods of work underwent a certain change. He had seen very good instruments of the Brescia school. They lacked, it is true, the sweet and delicate tone of the Amatis, but they were most powerful and had more carrying power. This experience prompted Stradivari to set himself a new goal. Was it possible to combine the mellow, silvery tone of an Amati with the majestic strength of a Maggini? Stradivari's second period from 1686 to 1694 is characterized by such experiments. He reduced Amati's high arching of the belly and broadened out the form instead. The two inward bends of the ribs were more keenly curved, the F-holes less sloping than in the instruments of his first period. And that's where we'll leave off, and we'll take it up again next week. Freddie wants to chat.
Hi, I'm Freddie. And do you remember my friend, Mr. Thomas Pinch, who plays the organ? Well, he sent me another video. Oh, he sent me another song. So here it is. Wow, that was fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Thomas Pinch. And everyone, don't forget, the deadline for the 200th episode is August 18. So send me all your videos and pictures before then. Okay, bye.
The Hebrew Minute. Za'aku v'Hashem shamea u'michol zalrutam hatzilam. The righteous cry, and the Lord hears, and from all their distress or trouble, he delivers or rescues them. If you know where this is found, please leave it in the comments below. And thank you to all of you who are finding the Hebrew Minute. Here we are, Friday afternoon. It is a lovely summer day. It's not too hot. Let's go in and see what's going on. Well, the Czech violin is gone. Back home to California. Here's our viola all set up and ready to go home. Here we're passing by our little pochette that needs to get set up. And here's our line of repairs. So the next instrument next week will be starting on this violin from New York, and then we'll be ready to start on this one from San Francisco. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your wonderful comments and your thumbs up. And don't forget to bring in your pictures and videos. Our deadline is August 18, so that we can get them all compiled and ready to go. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!